Most people misunderstand confidence. They think confidence is something you feel before you do something difficult, that one day you'll wake up and finally feel ready. Ready to lead, ready to speak up, ready to ask for promotion, ready to have the difficult conversation, ready to finally stop overthinking. And then once you feel confident enough, you'll finally act. But after spending nearly 20 years working with leaders, coaching teams, helping organizations navigate change, and watching people step into roles that they didn't think they were ready for, I can tell you that's usually not how this all works. Some of the most capable leaders I've worked with still get nervous. I still get nervous. They still replay conversations. They still wonder if they handled something correctly. They still walk into rooms, sometimes thinking, am I actually supposed to be here? And honestly, that surprises people because most of us assume confident people feel different. But what I've learned is this: confidence is usually not what separates people who grow from people who stay stuck. It's their relationship with discomfort. Because confidence is not usually what creates action. Action is usually what creates confidence. And if you get that backwards, you can spend years waiting to feel ready for things that only become less scary after you've already done them. So I want to talk to you about confidence. Not this kind of fake confidence, not the confidence you see on social media, not pretending, real bona fide confidence. The kind that survives leadership, survives hard conversations, the kind that ultimately survives uncertainty. Because once you understand how confidence actually works, it changes how you approach almost everything. So let's start with probably the biggest misconception. Most people think confidence comes first. I actually think that confidence is evidence. Your brain is constantly collecting information. It's asking, have we done this before? Do we know what's even happening here? Can we survive this, right? That fight or flight mentality. And if the answer is no, your nervous system responds exactly how it was designed to. You feel tension, uncertainty, fear, and people immediately assume, if I feel scared, maybe I'm not ready. Not necessarily. Sometimes fear means this matters. This is new. This is important. I was coaching a newer leader recently. First management role, very capable person, very thoughtful. Honestly, the exact type of person you'd want leading people. And they kept saying the same thing. I just don't feel like a leader. And my response was, of course you don't. You've never done this before. You don't have any evidence yet. You have the capability, you have the potential, you have the trust, but confidence, maybe not so much. Confidence is something that gets built later. And I think that's actually freeing because now the problem changes. Instead of asking, why don't I feel confident? You start asking a different question. You start asking, how do I build evidence? That's a much easier question because leadership is not a switch. Nobody gets promoted and magically transforms. Leadership is a process. Confidence gets built during the process, not before it. So here's something interesting. The people I see struggle with confidence the most are usually not what we would consider low performers. Usually they're thoughtful, they're self-aware, they're conscientious, they care. And self-awareness really creates an interesting problem because the more aware you are, the more things you notice. You notice mistakes, you notice tension, you notice what could go wrong, you notice body language, you notice gaps. And eventually, people start assuming the fact that I notice these problems must mean something's wrong with me. But many times, awareness is exactly what makes someone effective. Think about bad leaders for a second, like we've all had them. But bad leaders rarely spend lots of time asking important questions, especially not important questions about themselves. How can I improve? Right? How do I communicate better? How do I support people more effectively? Healthy leaders ask those questions consistently. I do leadership trainings fairly regularly, and something always fascinates me. You hear directors, executives, senior managers, C-suites, people everyone assumes have everything figured out. But consistently after the training, they'll quietly walk up and say, honestly, I still struggle with this. because visible confidence and internal certainty are not the same thing. Most people compare their internal experience to everyone else's external presentation. That's a really unfair comparison. So what happens when we don't feel confident? Usually we avoid things. We kind of out of sight, out of mind them, which makes sense. You delay the conversations, you wait to speak up, you postpone decisions, you tell yourself, I'll do it when I feel more ready. The problem is the brain learns from avoidance. Your brain says, okay, we avoided that. Now we feel safe. Great. Let's keep doing that. So next time, the fear gets bigger. I see this constantly with difficult conversations. Leaders know they need to address something, right? Well, and that's performance, accountability, behavior, conflict, but they wait. A week, 2 weeks, a month, and now they're not anxious about the conversation. They're anxious about the delay, the relationship. What's the consequences of us having this conversation? Everything attached to it. Avoidance takes discomfort and turns it into dread. Think of it like doom scrolling, but with your memories. And here's the dangerous part. You never gather evidence. You never learn that conversation was uncomfortable, but I survived it. It was tough, but I made it through. What happens is fear grows really well in empty space, which is why waiting rarely creates confidence. So, if confidence isn't built through waiting, then how is it built? It's built through small reps. Think about it like when you go to the gym. It's those small repetitions that build those muscles, right? It's that repeated discomfort, manageable challenges. People love giant transformations, but leadership growth is usually kind of boring. Let's say someone tells me, I'm terrified of public speaking. The answer probably isn't great. Let's get you on stage. So maybe first, speak once during a meeting, then contribute twice, then facilitate a discussion, then lead part of a meeting, then run a training. That's where we see growth. Leadership development is usually repetitive. I've watched leaders go from, I can't lead meetings, to running departments. Not because fear disappeared, because evidence accumulated. And this applies everywhere. Scared of feedback? Start with one sentence. Scared of conflict? Start with one small conversation. Scared of visibility? Speak once. Growth usually feels much less dramatic than people expect. Most growth feels repetitive. You do something uncomfortable, and then you do it again, and then you do it again. And then eventually your brain says, we've been here before, and it was okay. That's confidence. So here's another thing that people get backwards. People think, once I feel calm, I'll act. Usually, action comes first, then emotions change. Think about presentations, interviews, hard conversations. What happens beforehand, right? Our heart starts racing, our mind starts going all over the place. We start running through every worst case scenario that can possibly happen. And then you start. And then 30 seconds later, your body calms down. So why does it do that? Because your nervous system gathered new information. Hey, guess what? I didn't die in the first 30 seconds of that presentation. I survived it. So this still happens to me. I still get nervous speaking. I got nervous speaking before this YouTube clip. That part never completely disappears. What changes is now I know what comes next, because courage is often just staying in the room long enough for your body to realize you're safe. And leadership creates these moments constantly. You have to disappoint people. I know it's tough. I'm one of those people that I hate disappointing people. It's my biggest kind of anxiety driver for me. But you have to do it. You have to give the feedback. You have to make decisions. You have to handle conflict, and you have to be visible. If your goal is never feel uncomfortable, leadership becomes impossible. But if your goal becomes build a healthier relationship with discomfort, leadership becomes manageable. So what does healthy confidence actually look like? Because honestly, social media has really confused people. Confidence is not loudness. It's not dominance. It's not pretending to be something that you're not. Healthy confidence sounds more like, I can figure this out. I can recover. I can learn. I can deal with this discomfort right now. Some of the healthiest leaders I know ask questions, right? They admit mistakes. They stay curious. They change their minds. That's such a huge one. You let pride go and change your mind knowing that someone else is actually right and you're wrong. Because confidence is not, I know everything. Confidence is, I trust myself enough to handle what comes next. Those are completely different things. And honestly, the healthiest leaders I know are not fearless people. They're emotionally grounded people. They can tolerate uncertainty. They receive feedback. They handle tension. They recover from their mistakes. That's real confidence. It's not performing. It's not pretending. It's grounding. So if you've been waiting to feel completely ready, before speaking up, before leading, before having the conversation, before taking the opportunity, I want you to understand something. Confidence usually doesn't arrive first. Most confidence gets built afterwards. Conversation by conversation, rep by rep, and even mistake by mistake. If growth feels uncomfortable right now, that does not automatically mean you're failing. Sometimes it simply means you're growing. So don't wait for confidence. Take the next honest step. Keep it small if you need to, but take it. Because confidence usually meets you on the other side of movement. And if this connects with you, I'd encourage you guys to watch my previous video on imposter syndrome, because these ideas are deeply connected. Click the video here on your screen now, and I'll see you in the next one.